This is the first lesson in a two-part series on constructing fighting positions. It will teach you the when, where, and how of constructing defensive fighting positions. Part 2 will expand on the how portions. After completing this lesson, you should be able to state the 3 basic requirements for constructing a defensive fighting position. You should also be able to state the steps to take in constructing a fighting position, to include partially clearing fields of fire, digging an armpit hole with frontal protection, completion of clearing fields of fire, and continuous camouflaging the fields of fire during the entire process. You can see the need for a good fighting position by looking at this poor one. These airmen are exposed to enemy fire because they didn't dig in deep enough. The hole should be armpit deep to provide protection, which is the first basic requirement of a defensive fighting position. It should have frontal protection, which is also lacking here. The second basic requirement of a fighting position is that it should allow you to engage the enemy. This position does allow enemy engagement, but since it lacks good cover, it also allows the enemy to successfully engage you. The third basic requirement is that the position be concealed. The position shown here is exposed because the loose dirt was not hidden, and natural camouflage was not used to prevent detection by the enemy. This is a well-constructed fighting position because it provides the airmen with protection while allowing them to engage the enemy, and it is concealed from enemy detection. You will be taught how it was constructed in this lesson. The next lesson, Part 2, will teach you how to improve and refine a position like this one. This position is difficult for the enemy to see because it is well concealed and presents a low profile while still affording adequate protection for its occupants. Frontal protection in this example allows for target engagement to the oblique and also to the front. Keep in mind, fighting positions must be mutually supporting. Let's break here for some questions. Here is an example of a good fighting position with its features numbered. Listed on the right are the 3 basic requirements for a good fighting position. Match each numbered feature with the requirement it fulfills, and press the restart button to continue. Under Provide Protection, you should have answered number 7, which is the frontal protection. Under Allows Enemy Engagement, you should have answered 1 and 3, as they depict clear fields of fire. Under Provides Concealment, you should have listed numbers 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All surrounding trees, bushes, and your frontal protection provide concealment from the enemy. Now let's construct a fighting position. Your squad leader, fire team leader, will tell you the location of your fighting position and assign your sector of fire. Your squad leader, fire team leader, picks the best position for you to have concealment while giving you good observation and sectors of fire while mutually supporting flanking positions. When the squad leader, fire team leader, tells you the location of your position and your sector of fire, your first action must be to mark your sector of fire with stakes or rocks. After marking your sectors of fire, you partially clear your fields of fire. This will allow you to effectively return enemy fire if you are attacked while constructing your position. When partially clearing your sectors of fire, clear only the most critical areas at this time. Remove large branches and bushes. Remove just enough so that you can cover your sector of fire. If there is sod, remove it. Cut the sod deep enough to keep it living, since you will later use it as camouflage when you dig a fighting position. The basic position is a 2-man position. One person works while the other provides security. Or if you are both working at once, make sure you are covered by another position that has already been dug in. Start digging your position behind any natural cover that is available, such as trees or rocks. If there is no natural cover, build frontal protection as you dig. If you must build frontal protection, construct it by packing down the dirt which was removed while digging the hole. Dig deep enough during the initial hasty dig so that there is some protection for you both, with room for you to fire your weapons. Let's try an exercise to see if you understand what we've already covered. Your squad leader, fire team leader, has pointed out the location of your fighting position, and he has also assigned your sector of fire. What would you do now? You are correct if you answered that you would quickly mark your sector of fire with stakes or rocks. Now try this one. What are the two things that are wrong with this fighting position? The first thing you should have spotted was that the fighting position has not been dug out. It should have been dug out to provide protection from enemy fire. The second thing you should have spotted is that the frontal protection is not corrected. You could have also mentioned that they did not mark their sectors of fire and they didn't pack down the dirt. Once you have dug sufficiently to provide a hasty fighting position, you are ready to continue preparing your fighting position. Remember that the basic fighting position is the two-man position. Work on fighting positions is a continuing process both on the position and on its camouflage. Using these tasks as a guide, you will be able to construct any fighting position. Now, let's discuss the size of the hole. There are no set dimensions for your fighting position. However, there are some guidelines. The hole must be long enough to allow each airman to fire around the frontal protection when not receiving effective small arms fire, wide enough for two individuals wearing equipment, and at least armpit deep. It should be as small as possible to afford maximum protection. The most critical dimension is the thickness of the frontal protection, which must be a minimum of 18 inches of dirt in order to stop small arms fire. It must be high enough to cover the heads of the airmen firing from the position, and far enough in front of the hole to provide elbow rests and sector stakes to allow each airman to cover his flanks. After you have marked off the outline of your position, you should have cut, dug, and stacked your sod. It should be cut as deep and square as possible. This is so it will live when you use it to camouflage your frontal protection. You don't always have to use sod, but remember, broken leaves and branches will wilt and die. You have to keep replacing them, or you will be giving the enemy a roadmap to your position. When you reach armpit depth, the hole is deep enough. This depth lowers your profile while still allowing you to fire your weapon. Now that you have constructed your frontal protection and dug out your position, it is time to complete clearing your field of fire. Be careful not to clear too many natural features such as weeds and shrubs because you don't want the enemy to see your location. Then remove all signs of your work. Let's try a practice exercise. How deep should you dig your fighting position? You are correct if you answered it should be armpit deep. Has this airman properly cleared his field of fire? You are correct if you answered no. This airman is too easily seen from the front because he has cleared too many natural features from his field of fire. Let's continue with another question. True or false? After camouflaging your position, you need not bother with the camouflage again. The answer is false. Camouflage should be natural and made from things normally found in the immediate area that will blend in with the surroundings. Remember, cut foliage will die quickly. Cut sod will remain alive and last longer. Since dead materials must be replaced, camouflaging is a continuing process. This position is improperly camouflaged. The neatly placed rocks easily identify the placement from the front. The rocks don't blend in with the terrain. They were obviously put there by someone. Here, the piles of freshly dug dirt give away the position. They should have done a better job camouflaging this position. They could have used leaves or branches from that big tree. You don't always have to use sod. Let's try a practice exercise. Select the position which has the best camouflage. Choose either position A, position B, or position C. You are right if you chose position C. This position is well camouflaged and cannot be seen from the front. Position A has no camouflage, and position B is too easily identified since the frontal protection stands out in the open. Is this a properly or improperly camouflaged position? You are right if you answered that it is improperly camouflaged. The airman covered the parapet with pine branches, and now his position seems unusual because there are no other pine branches in the immediate area. You should have also noticed that the sides of the parapet are not camouflaged. We have covered 5 tasks in the construction of a fighting position. Let's do a final self-evaluation on them. These airmen have been given their position location by their squad leader, fire team leader. They have just marked their sectors of fire with stakes. What should they do next? You should have answered that they would partially clear their sectors of fire and begin digging in order to provide immediate protection. Remember that one man provides cover while the other digs. Next, how deep should you dig that position? You are right if you answer that you must dig an armpit deep hole with frontal protection large enough to protect you and your buddy from enemy small arms fire. Which frontal protection is correct? Choose either position A, position B, or position C. Position B is correct since it is constructed of dirt and is thick enough to protect the airman from small arms fire. The frontal protection in position A is too low, and in position C it is not protective enough since it is only made of branches. All right, the sectors of fire are marked. The field of fire has been partially cleared, and the hole is dug out. What must these airmen do next? You're doing just fine if you answered that the next task is to complete the clearing of the field of fire. What is the next task after completely clearing the field of fire? You must continue camouflaging the position. You want to be concealed from frontal view and from the air. The camouflage must look natural and blend in with the surrounding terrain. This concludes Part 1 of constructing fighting positions. If you had any problems, go back and review as much of the program as needed.